Now loading podcast, period.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Podcast Period, the internet's stupidest podcast. My name is Ben, and with me today, as always, is my co-host David.
What's up, guys?
We didn't really announce it in the last episode, which has been taken down now that I think about it. I really need to get it back up, but anyway, we are now doing... Wow, that took a long time. Holy crap. Sorry, that was... Get a little bit of behind the scenes here. What was that, like 3 minutes?
Yeah.
It had to have been something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of background. We record locally, but as a backup, we also use Craig on Discord. And I've spammed our server here literally 7 times to try to get him to join the conversation, and I finally just gave up, and he just joined, like literally not even 30 seconds ago. Oh my god, technology is not my friend.
I just love how we both did a quick double take on that. I was like, huh?
Oh man. Anyway, so if you missed the last episode, can't guarantee we're going to be doing these every episode, but we're going to try to do the most episodes where we've got both of us recording video now. So we may be doing more visual things. We'll see. Haven't really figured any of that out yet, but for now you can see our beautiful faces and laugh at how ugly we are.
If I could ever get this, like,
centered.
I'm so sorry, guys. This is gonna give you motion sickness. It's like constantly like repulling this camera.
It must be the cord. Or
that's exactly.
Maybe you get some tape and like tape the cord up on the back of your monitor or something.
Maybe. No, I can't tell which way to turn the camera either.
That's good. That looks good.
That's just gonna have to be how it is.
Anyway, so yeah, we're recording ourselves now as far as, you know, the visual side goes. So, can't say the definitive version of the podcast is on YouTube, but you know, if you want to see us talk about stuff and actually look at our faces, then that's on YouTube now.
Our beautiful, gorgeous faces.
Yeah. Quote unquote. Anyway, so as per usual, David and I have gone around the internet and found some stuff that we want to talk about. This week it's all tech related. We don't have anything outside of the realm of what we usually talk about. So, got a few different things to talk about. We're going to talk about the first episode of The Mandalorian that recently dropped. Watch some trailers, you know, all that good stuff. So, anyways, without further ado, if you'd like to start us off, David, with your first topic.
I totally forgot that I reset the computer.
And you don't have anything pulled up?
I don't have anything pulled up.
Ooh, wow.
So,
looks like somebody's going to be fired from being a host. It's not Craig. Oh, Craig left. Oh my, well. All right. Cool.
Of course he did. He
cool.
showed up late
to
the party. We berate him, so he leaves.
Maybe I can get him to join again. Nope. All right. Well, I've given up on him.
Where were we again? We're going to talk about some AMD, guys, because that's what we always do.
Hey, listen. Maybe if Intel ever did anything notable besides screw up, we'd talk about them more. I mean, actually, I do have an Intel article here. So, I mean, we will talk about them, just not as much as AMD.
Alrighty, so we kind of preluded this in a previous episode, and I don't remember if it's the one that got chopped and hasn't been put back up yet or not, but either way, whatever episode it's in, it's out there. We talked a little bit about the Zen 3 launch. At the time, it was just a press stack release. It wasn't any actual physical review that we could quantifiably talk about and say, yeah, AMD did what they said they were going to do. But they were boasting 20% IPC improvements and whatnot, all because of their new redesigned Zen 3. Mostly core changes is all they really did. They didn't change production process. They didn't really get much as far as they didn't do anything with the core counts. They didn't do anything with like frequency. It's a little bit higher than it was, but it's basically all just architectural improvements. So it's like, you got that percentage increase off of that? We'll have to wait and see. Well, they did. People were able to test and officially launch the CPUs, and they creamed Intel and everything.
They have blown Intel out of the water.
It is done.
Everything.
There's not one thing. Even the 5600X, which is their 6-core, 12-thread. I think it's like supposed to be like. I want to say like I think it's going to be a $300 CPU this time around.
I'm pretty
we'll
sure
see.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And even that was beating like everything Intel in gaming. The bottom end Ryzen CPU is beating like the core i9 10900K or something like that. It was like, oh, what?
Pretty bad.
It's a 10-core chip. What are they going to do? They've got nothing. They're claiming they're going to be able to do a 12, maybe 15% IPC gain, I think, with Rocket Lake coming out next year. But they're going to lose 2 cores. They're only going to do an 8-core CPU at the high end. They are chopping 2 whole cores out of it. They can't do a 10-core because they haven't gotten past 14 nanometer. They don't have any more room. The 10900K and the 10850K, which is like 100 megahertz slower version of that same chip, are at their peak as far as TDP and thermals go. They can't do anything else. They are toasty. Ryzen, the hottest CPU on this list, was like 82 degrees Celsius. It's like 20 degrees lower than Intel. And it's a 16-core chip. Everything else, what? They did nothing as far as Intel.
The best thing is they've gotten all of these increases without increasing the TDPs.
Nope.
The chips.
And in fact, in some cases, some of them were running maybe 1 or 2 watts lower. It was crazy what they've done. We're talking highest IPC for single core stuff. The multi-core shredded it. The only thing that's not really like a game changer this time around is the pricing. They've kind of priced it a little higher than they have in the past, but
they've priced it at a little bit of a premium. But let's be real.
It's a premium product now.
Yeah, they've definitely proved that they can do things with this.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it.
This isn't first gen Ryzen anymore.
No.
We're well into going on what, like 4 years of Ryzen at this point?
Yeah, this is just totally 180 compared to even Ryzen first gen. And that is like a 180 compared to like Bulldozer. And it's like, holy cow, how can you do like so much with this? And it's
insane. After seeing where Intel has been at for forever at this point, it's crazy to see AMD come into the game with Ryzen, and then not even 4 years later surpass Intel in everything.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing.
And even if Intel does manage to regain their crown when they bring out Rocket Lake, if that's if they can, there's no point in going with it because it's going to be more expensive than Ryzen. That's just what Intel does.
Unless they price perform, and honestly, it's going to be really hard to do it because, yeah, okay, you might be able to get that gaming crown back, maybe. You're not getting anything else back. Ryzen's already been better at multi-production workloads, and you're going to go down 2 cores.
Mm-hmm.
You've got no hope.
There's no, especially after chopping off the 2 cores, there's no way that they're going to regain performance.
So that basically means they're dead until late next year when maybe Alder Lake comes out, which is supposed to be which is going to have its own like teething issues, I think, because they're going to go for their big little concept, which sounds really interesting, and I'm really, really hoping that it works out for everybody so that we can get some power sipping chips out on mobile. Mm-hmm. Ryzen's just going to have a 5 nanometer chip come out in Zen 4. So anything that Alder Lake brings to the table, I'm sure AMD is going to match, if not beat. So
yeah,
it's going to be an interesting few years. I like it. This is what we needed. We needed some competition.
Yeah. The thing is, neither of us hates Intel.
No, absolutely not.
We started out with it, but it's nice to see some competition because they were going way, way, way crazy with the pricing and everything that they were doing.
And they wasn't doing anything with it. How many years did you have 4-core 8-bit chips be the max? For consumers, basically.
It was a long time.
They could have gotten to 8 cores 4 years ago if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. Just kept the frequencies a little bit lower. AMD wasn't doing anything really. They could have just kept the frequencies lower, which would have kept the temps in check. And they could have done this a long time ago. They clearly could have done it because they're doing it now.
Yeah.
It's just hard for them to do it now because they got the frequencies jacked to the max because it's the only thing saving them. Because they haven't done a core change since Skylake, which is what we ran.
The worst part is Ryzen is now inching up on the frequency as well. I mean, the 5950 turbos on its own up to 4.9.
4.9.
Just
we
imagine
don't know
if you get some decent cooling and you overclock it correctly, probably get 5.1. Who knows? So
you're at most 100 or 200 megahertz slower than Intel with like 20-30% better IPCs. I mean, Zen 2 was better IPC.
And that's just guessing because nobody's overclocked these things yet. I'm sure we're going to see people soon with like an overclocking race or something, seeing how far these things can go.
Absolutely. It's going to be
what I want to see is somebody overclocking a 5950X with like a I don't want to see balls to the wall cooling. I want to see average cooling to see where most people would be able to get it. Not I'm going to go out and buy a 5950X. I just want to see like everyday performance. You know?
keep it on like a either like a big heavy Noctua tower cooler or like a 280 or a 360 mil rad cooler AIO and see what that does, because that's feasible for most people, and see what you can do with this. I'm so hyped. I can't wait. Clearly, I'm not doing this, but it's nice to know the options out there. It's just fun.
Man, it's ridiculous.
All right,
ridiculous.
What you got there, friendo?
All right, so my first article here is about some 0-day exploits that Apple finally patched out of iOS that were found by Google.
Google of all people.
So apparently this security flaw affects iPhone 6s and later. seventh generation iPod Touches, iPad Air 2s and later, and iPad Mini 4s and later. There was a flaw with a code execution vulnerability that attackers can trigger using maliciously crafted fonts. There was a vulnerability that allowed a malicious app to obtain the locations in kernel memory.
Whoops.
And a bug that allowed code to run with highly privileged system rights.
Oops.
So, these obviously weren't publicly released until Apple has been able to fix them. But I believe that they were already being actively exploited. So, that's pretty bad. I mean, I'm not... Listen, I'm not saying that Android doesn't have its problems, but, I mean, I didn't see my Android phone get crashed because of an emoji, so that's all I'm going to say. All right. We can move past that. We don't need to throw any more shade at Apple. They've already got enough.
We do that on a regular as it is.
Yeah, no kidding.
Alright, so we got our competition with Intel, right? On AMD CPUs. Yep. Did you think we was going to actually get any competition on the GPU division with NVIDIA?
God, no.
I kind of written this off a long time ago.
Yeah, my next GPU, I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't know what my budget would be. But if I had to guess, I would probably still go for a mid-tier NVIDIA card over an AMD card, unless this announcement changes things as far as, power and pricing goes. It's hard to say right now, though, because it's just an announcement, so...
Well, so we finally have some hope. There's a little glimmer of sunshine at the end of this dark, dark tunnel called NVIDIA inflated GPU pricing. Because that's what 2000 series RTX was.
Mm-hmm.
Inflated NVIDIA pricing. Because they could do it. AMD revealed the RX 6000 series RDNA 2 cards last month. So, 2 weeks after their CPU debut, we got the GPU debut. Now, again, it was just a press stack release, so we didn't really have high hopes for it. But given how Zen 3 played to what they said it would play to, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that this is probably going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They have...
It says it's launching on, the 6800 and the 6800 XT are launching on the 18th. And I'm pretty sure our next episode recording date is going to be after that. So we may be able to talk about this next episode.
Hopefully. We shall see.
Maybe.
So...
If not next episode, then the episode after, definitely.
Exactly. They launched, paper launched, Prestick launched. They haven't actually launched the cards yet, but they're coming. Mm-hmm. The RX 6800, 6800 XT, and the 6900 XT. All of which are...
Which one was it that they were claiming was competing against the 3090?
So the 3090 is being... supposedly outperformed by the 6900 XT.
Really?
The 6800 XT is supposed to be beating the 3080. And
I'm assuming the 6800 is the 3070.
It's supposed to be, and they couldn't validly test it against the 3070 yet.
Okay.
But they did... tested against the 2080 Ti, which is what NVIDIA is claiming is what the 3070 performance is looking like. So they took the 6800 and compared it against the 2080 Ti, and it beat it in most cases. All right. They're all running 16 gigs of GDDR6, no 6X for AMD, which is something that NVIDIA did do, but their 3070, which I think is just GDDR6, I don't think they did the 6X for the 3070, is
No, I
only
don't
8
think
gigs.
so.
And the 3080 is only 10 gigs of RAM.
Wow.
And we've got 16 on AMD side. And apparently NVIDIA was going to release like maybe 16 or something gig models. They were going to have higher gig models of the 3080.
Mm-hmm.
And those for now have apparently been scrapped. So we shall see what this does. But I think based on that, these might actually be the better long-term solution, because I don't know how much long 8 gigs is going to last as far as 3 to 5 year outlooks go.
Yeah.
NVIDIA does do a better job at compressing their RAM usage than AMD ever did, which is why 6 gig cards kind of worked for NVIDIA when AMD had to do 8. But, it's whatever. One of the cool things that they have done with this is their board powers are way lower than NVIDIA's. You might actually not need to buy like a 800 to 1,000 watt power supply to run the 6,000 series cards like you do the 30,000 series cards, because them things are sucking down some power. I've seen reports that the 3080s are probably pulling close to maybe 400 watts of power just on the card. And I'm sitting in here with a 500 watt power supply for my entire computer. And let me tell you, full bore, it runs just fine. It wouldn't be doing that if my graphics card was sucking down 400 watts of power. I'd be toast. But I think the biggest thing is the smart access memory technology that they debuted. If you pair your 6000 series RDNA card with a 5000 series Ryzen CPU on the 500 series, I know this is a lot of numbers, guys. Basically, get the latest AMD GPU, CPU, and motherboard, and they're giving the CPU direct access to the graphics card's memory without going through the PCIe bus. So there's a lot of overhead that will happen there that gets cut out completely with this direct access memory, or smart access memory as they're calling it. So I think that's something that is going to be completely up AMD's alley, and I don't think anybody else is going to be able to do this for a while. They're the ones partnering with both cards here, both the CPU and the GPU. You got to get NVIDIA and Intel to basically say, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
For them to be able to do it.
Either that or Intel's going to have to start actually developing graphics cards, which I think they're trying to do, but
they're really... I thought they'd have it out by now. It seems like they're really late to the party.
Yeah.
But all these numbers that they were throwing out, and of course it's all invalid until we actually see real performance metrics. But every single game that they were beating NVIDIA by, they were beating it without all of this extra features turned on. With the extra features being the rage mode, as they're calling it, which is basically automatic overclocking, and the smart access memory technology engaged. There was some games, I think it's CSGO, had 11% better frames just because of that pairing. So if you can get 11% more performance on games that were never written for this type of idea, what's it going to do in the future when these new console games coming out? Because the consoles are doing this already with the new generation. This is exactly what Sweeney was touting about with the PS5 SSD caching that they would. This is what they were talking about. Sony's implementation of it, but it's this idea. And Microsoft said this is exactly what's happening with the Xbox. So the games will be written for this eventually. And I think it's going to be amazing when it does. What do you think? What do you got?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks interesting, but as always, I'm just gonna have to wait for the benchmarks.
You gotta wait. See if it actually holds up to what they say.
Mm-hmm. If it is, it'll be interesting. Definitely gonna shake up the market.
Yep, I like it.
All right, well, let's move on to our next topic here. All right, so, this article's from Ars Technica. Intel enters the laptop discrete GPU market with Z Max, or XE, I think it's C. However, this GPU, at least as far as Intel is claiming it, is not necessarily for gaming. It's more for content creation acceleration. Although it does work for gaming. The benchmarks that they have here, interestingly enough, mostly beat, if not come very close to beating, the NVIDIA MX350. I'm not sure what that the full size version of the chip is, but pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to see that they're able to do all that.
Looks like the MX350 is a little bit slower than a GTX 1050 and is basically on par with a 960 mobile chip.
I mean, they're not exactly competing with current day generations in gaming, but
no.
You know, I mean, they did say that it wasn't necessarily for gaming, so
no,
at least it's something.
Exactly. And you know what? If it's better than HD 630 and whatever graphics they're on now, then anything better than that is a step in the right direction.
Anything is better than their built-in graphics. Yeah.
As any laptop owner can testify.
Yeah, okay.
Myself included. Ugh. That poor thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so they've said it's a content creation accelerator sort of thing. They've got a graph here talking about single stream encoding performance, and it looks like with this graphics card, I don't know, this graphics accelerator, I guess, with Intel Deep Link media encoders, it looks like it's almost double the performance of an NVIDIA RTX Super with NVENC on. I'm assuming this is probably with OBS or something encoding. So I don't know. Seems interesting. This is something that probably not going to see a whole lot of mainstream coverage on. There might be something on Linus Tech Tips or something, but I don't know. It's hard to say exactly how good it is without seeing any actual benchmarks, because it looks like this is, again, just a press release. There's not anything definite about it yet, so we'll have to see. We'll come back to this if we can find any third-party benchmarks that aren't coming straight from Intel.
Yeah. It would be
really cool. But for now, it seems
cool.
Interesting.
It would be really cool if that's if that encoding performance is true. I mean, a lot of people are just using NVENC. You could make the argument with enough CPUs, enough CPU cores, maybe somebody that has a 3900X or maybe even a 3700X if it's a lower end game, you could probably just do CPU encoding and be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why. And me and you just end up doing the ending stuff. It'd be really cool if you could get double the performance while using the encoder on the CPU and not touch the CPU's raw computing performance or your graphics card's raw computing performance.
Yeah, see, I think the perfect niche for this would be like a special content creator laptop where you've got your CPU, this chip, and then also another dedicated graphics card.
Yep.
So you can like play your game. So this would be literally for encoding, and that's it.
Yep.
You wouldn't be touching your GPU or anything like that. You could use that to play games or do whatever else you wanted to do in the background. And then obviously it wouldn't touch your CPU either.
Yeah, where you have the smallest margins as far as thermal and power consumption goes.
Mm-hmm.
The smallest of margins helps. Battery life, thermals, what boosting clocks you can hold, all that. Every little bit helps. I don't think it really mattered too much as far as desktop goes. I could care less if you use this twice the power on a desktop. As long as it's not like 400 watts. Mm-hmm. But in a mobile application, I think you're right. That'd be really beneficial.
Yeah. I don't know. It might be pretty if it was something that was built on to a motherboard, it seems like it would be pretty beneficial for a desktop thing too, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've still got games that use 100% of your GPU. You know, if you're trying to stream or record that, it can get pretty taxing.
Oh, no, they'll just bake it into the CPU and just replace the built-in graphics with this.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't see why they'd want to put it on a motherboard. That seemed kind of... I mean, I guess they could. It is Intel motherboards. You're either going to be buying it on the motherboard or you're going to be buying it on the CPU. It really doesn't matter because they're both coming from them anyway. So I guess it doesn't matter how they implement it, to be honest. If they do that. If
they ever implement it.
If they ever implement it. Yeah, we've been hearing about this for years. Oh. Okay. Let's go to China, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
Samsung built a bigger, and I don't understand why the Chinese market needs a bigger, more expensive version of the Fold 2, but they got it. They got a $3,000 version of the Galaxy Fold 2. Why? I don't know. It's Samsung's Galaxy W line of phones. And why they have to make a specifically... I'm guessing it's probably something to do with regulations. Let's just put it that way. Keep it PC correct, right?
Probably, yeah.
Let's just say regulations. Is why they have to do a specific line meant for the Chinese consumers. But hey, whatever. So they have the Galaxy W21, which is a dressed up Galaxy Z Fold, for $1,000 more. And it's really impressive for what it has as far as specs goes. It's got a almost 4,400 milliamp hour battery and a 6.2 inch outer screen at 120 hertz with a 7.6
Wait, so not only does it have the interior foldable screen, but it's got an exterior one too?
Yep. Yep.
What? Why?
Selfies. I always wanted to look at the back of my phone and use the calculator app while I'm actively shooting a selfie with the front. Don't you know this? I gotta calculate how many Instagram likes I'm gonna get with this one.
It's gonna be 0.
Hashtag lit.
Oh my god.
Is there really anything else to say about this? I mean, this is just
not really
stupid.
Just a bigger screen, more screens apparently.
I do like the 12 gigs of RAM.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
That would be nice.
Maybe next phone.
Alright, well, that's not going to sell very well. I don't know what Chinese market has $3,000 for a phone besides a few. So,
I don't know.
I
That's
guess
good
a
question.
few when you have that many people ends up being a lot. And I guess
Yeah.
is enough for Samsung to devote an entire line to it.
I mean, apparently it's worked out before.
Whatever. They know
All
what
right.
they're doing.
So, it looks like HBO Max has finally been restored to Linux users. We pretty sure we didn't talk about this before because there wasn't really any point. But I figured it was interesting enough because, Linux, computers, technology, whatever. So it seems like what happened was, obviously, you're in a Linux computer, you're going to be watching this through a browser, not like an app or anything. So HBO Max increased the security level on the Wildvine plugin or DRM service that they use to stream the video to their customers. And it wasn't giving licenses to people on Linux browsers anymore because, Linux is so hackable. I guess they didn't want people stealing their streams or whatever. But they finally fixed it so that people on Linux can watch their stuff on Linux now. Didn't say what they did. They've always said that it wasn't Wildvine that was the issue, but it clearly was because inspect element is the thing. So yeah, it was their fault. It was Wildvine's fault. So yeah, that's it. I just thought it was interesting.
Another reason why we don't use Linux is far superior as it is in many ways to Windows. This kind of crap is why we don't use it. It's just so much that you have to fix. Compatibility is busted everywhere. This is why Linux hasn't taken over.
It's not as bad anymore, but it can better. It can get there. It can get there. Not that Windows can't get there, but
you know what they just need to do? Just need to port Linux with a Windows shell. Have Microsoft build Linux into its core. And then have the Microsoft Windows user ability on top of it. That way people know it and they can work it. It's not going to happen, but that's what needs to happen.
It's never going to happen.
You're just going to have to marry the two together and be like, ooh, my child. Go to the masses. Be 90s Microsoft and claim all those antitrust lawsuits as victories.
God. All right, let's keep going.
All right, Google says the pixels uneven panel gaps are nothing to worry about. Welcome to Tesla world. Google, panel gaps, who cares?
Nothing to worry about, David.
Oh, goodness. So
that little crack in there won't let in water or dirt or anything. Well, that's crazy talk. Oh, no.
So, big, as been alluded to, big panel gaps have users worrying about water resistance and grime collection. I'd be more worried about the second thing. Yeah, I know how much lint and crap gets caught between my phone and the case as it is. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to have to take like a toothpick or something and literally chisel out crap around the edge of the phone because it got stuck between the edge of the body and like the screen. Ugh.
That's right.
It's actually pretty substantial in this one photo. It's like, how do you not deal with that? Is this Is this how they designed it, or is this just a manufacturing variance, a tolerance? Have they said?
It. I don't think they've said. It doesn't look like they have. But I mean, clearly, they don't. Clearly, they don't know what's going on.
Whatever. Good job. Welcome to Tesla. That's all I'm going to say. Good job. All right. We can move on from that.
Last topic. Motorola says that new Moto Razrs shouldn't arrive in used condition anymore. Want to hazard a guess as to what was happening there?
I've heard so many different things, but I don't even know what the heck is true. So spill the beans for me.
So, what happened was, in the original box design that Motorola created, the phone was going to ship open.
Yep.
Because, it's a foldable phone.
Yeah.
So, apparently they rethought the box design where they wanted the phone to ship closed. So people, they literally had, at like the end of the factory line, workers opening up the boxes, like cutting bits and pieces and adding things into the box so that the phone would ship folded, and they're taking off the screen protector of the interior screen as well. And repackaging everything and sending it back out.
Okay. So what's the problem?
Well, apparently people were, complaining about the missing screen protector and the fact that there's fingerprints all over their phone now.
You mean they weren't smart enough to, maybe wear gloves and, I don't know, wipe the phone when they were done folding it?
No. Gloves aren't a thing, David. Come on. This is 2020. We don't wear gloves. People don't even want to wear masks.
To be completely fair, I may have not been able to get any gloves.
That is a good point.
To be completely fair, because we've been out of gloves for months. I'll get a box like once every 3 weeks, and it'll last for a day, and it'll be gone. We just now finally got like a massive shipment of gloves.
I haven't checked on our gloves here lately. I haven't heard anybody ask me for them in a long time.
Oh gosh, it was daily. So is the mask. I still don't have mask. We got all the fabric blue mask, but like N95 respirators from 3M. Haven't gotten a box since like January. So good job, Motorola. Welcome. Who opened boxes before? Somebody's opened boxes.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Well, I guess I'll just say welcome to Motorola world when somebody does this next time. Like I told Google, welcome to Tesla and your body gap issues.
I'm sure it'll happen again soon.
Whatever. What morons.
All right. So, now we're going to move on to our discussion topic of the episode.
Oh, one more thing.
The Mandalorian. Oh, what? What?
People were complaining that these were coming in dirty, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's the biggest surprise about that?
What?
She bought the damn phone. Because I wasn't. This is the stupidest thing I've seen Motorola do. And I literally have had nothing but Motorola for like the last 6-7 years. And this was one step too far.
You got to cash it on the Razer popularity. That's non-existent at this point.
Anyways, sorry.
Anyway, our discussion topic of the episode, we're going to talk about the first episode of the second season of The Mandalorian. Probably talk about the second episode. Well, I guess there'll be 2 more episodes out at that point for the next
Yeah, I didn't
for our
realize the
next
second
episode.
episode had dropped already. I went to watch it and I was like, oh, the second one's out too.
Pretty sure the second one came out today, right?
I don't know. I didn't look at it until today, and yes, it was there.
Okay, yeah, it should have been today then. Anyway, so, what did you think? What's your opinion of it?
I have the same problem I had with it last season, and I think this is one of the reasons why we kind of didn't follow up with it. We got to like the 6th episode or something like that.
I want to say we got to like the 4th episode and then stopped kind of updating.
And I honestly didn't watch like the last 3 episodes until like late this summer. I finally was like, okay, let's see how it ended. There's major pacing issues still. It is so all over the place. I love the whole how is it pronounced? Crate?
It's Crate Dragon.
Crate Dragon. I loved it. Unfortunately, you'd have to know exactly what it is to make any understanding whatsoever. This is like deep, I feel like this is like deep Star Wars territory as far as like deep fan service goes.
You don't really have to know what it is.
To understand the significance, you would. Especially at the end, the little pearl. Or did you not pay attention to that?
I saw the pearl, but I figured it was just an egg.
I did too. I had to look it up. That's the only problem I have with it. It's a pearl. So there's like a whole thing. There's a whole thing beyond that about like lightsabers and things like that. Like I guess it's kind of like a kyber crystal alternative somehow, or I don't know the exact details, but it involved lightsabers. Because I looked it up, I was like, "Is this an egg?" But it's just the pacing. It's slow. It really is slow, and then it has its really fast-paced moments, but it drags, and that's what I don't like about The Mandalorian. It's like that every episode. Some of them are really good, and some of them are slow.
I kind of agreed with you last season, but I very much enjoyed this first episode. I don't know. I didn't really find any pacing issues or anything. I've kind of gotten over the fact that they're not moving the story forward every episode, because I've kind of realized it's not really what they're going for. They're going for more of an episodic, like, I guess, space western sort of thing.
Is that what they're trying to do?
Yeah, it's not every episode there's going to be some major plot point. So, I don't know. And as far as the pearl goes, I assumed it was an egg. I figured it was like, oh, they're going to eat it, or they're going to grow another one or something like that. It didn't really affect me, not necessarily knowing what it was. So I understand what you're saying as far as having to look it up or whatever, but I feel like the average person could live without knowing exactly what it was.
So it's just my morbid curiosity then.
Does it deepen your understanding of the Star Wars lore? Probably, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other things in The Mandalorian that could do that too. Just because there's so much lore to draw from at this point from Star Wars. But I don't think it affects my enjoyment of it at all.
So you've gotten over most of the pacing issues though, and you've just come to the conclusion that it's not an issue. It's by design.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't come to that conclusion. So with that in mind, I guess that's what they were intending. Then I guess there isn't an issue. It's just the way it is. It felt like an issue to me last season.
See, I think what it might be is we were trying to treat it as a Star Wars movie and not necessarily a Star Wars TV show. Because even if you're looking at like the Clone Wars TV show, there's not every episode that moves the plot forward. There certainly is an overarching plot every season, but there's not every episode that they're going to like go out and search for General Grievous or whatever the plot happens to be that season. So
Okay.
I can get over every episode not necessarily moving the overarching plot forward. And I mean, there's still moments like at the end with that dude looking at the Mandalorian like through the binoculars or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not like they're forgetting about the plot. It's just like, you know, they're designing it like I guess like an old Western almost, where it's kind of like a monster of the week sort of thing. Except they have some episodes that also feed into the overarching plot.
Okay, maybe, possibly. What did you think about the return to Tatooine? It just seems like they can't get over this planet. It's like the pivotal, like, central...
I think that's just fan service.
It's just fan service.
Yeah. What I don't understand is how Boba Fett's armor got to a freaking Jawa thing. A Jawa trading roller, whatever those things are called, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they'll explain it. I did like the context as far as the timeline goes. The Mandalorian hasn't really established exactly what we're talking about as far as timeline goes, but we kind of got a big hint when it was soon after, or the night of the destruction of and they made it a point to mention that it was the second Death Star, that the miners, the mining coalition, or however they phrased it, came. Well, we
always knew that it was after the sixth movie. Where it is in correlation to the seventh is kind of a different story, because there is 30 years in between those two,
about
or something
30
like
years,
that.
But it made it feel like it was not like
10, 15 years
immediately
in the future,
after. There's been some time.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some time. This didn't just happen overnight. This is 6 months previous or post Death Star blow up, or 2 years. There's been some time that has passed. So I think it cleared up a little bit of uncertainty there. You're right. There's no correlation as to how close it is to the seventh movie. Are we dead in the middle, 15 years after and then 15 years before, or is it 2010 or 25-5 or something like that? We don't really know there. But I felt like it did a little bit of service for that. Have you seen the marketing for what now is referred to as the child, I think they call it? For Baby Yoda? That they were so poignant to get mad about people calling it Baby Yoda. And they finally actually gave it the child moniker. As far as the marketing
I knew that they were
goes.
calling it the child. Are they really getting that mad about people calling it Baby Yoda?
I think so.
I mean,
I think they were pretty mad last season.
Call it Baby Yoda all I want to.
What else were you supposed to call it?
Yeah, I mean, sure, call it child, whatever, but I mean...
There's literally
no
marketing
point
out there now, plush, stress balls and stuff. The child is the moniker that they gave it. It's really? That's your solution? I'd rather just call it Baby Yoda.
Yeah, you and me both. No kidding.
All
right, so... we've got some trailers that we're going to take a look at. And then we've got another special segment that we're going to do at the end of the episode. But first, trailers. Our first one is for the new Lego Star Wars Holiday Special that's going to be on Disney Plus eventually.
'Twas the night before Life Day, in a galaxy far, far away.
Looking good. Tree, food, decorations.
Coming together heroes were, to celebrate the day.
Please be a cape. Please be a cape.
It's a wrap! For Ray, adventure called, and she thought it would be fast.
Wow.
But there she found a key to the galaxy's past.
Sorry! Oh! Master Luke!
What are you doing?
This is so cool! We've seen my master. My master's master.
Concentrate.
My master's father.
Impressive.
My master's father's master.
Emperor Palpatine? I don't believe it! You think maybe you could put a shirt on?
It's a key to travel across space and time.
I will change the future.
So sure are you?
Less talky, more fighty.
A time of joy. This is
Ray!
a friendship, a family.
Who are you guys?
Master Skywalker.
My son. I mean, these binary sons.
Punta solos?
You want to shoot first? After you.
Oh, November 17th, huh? Maybe we'll have to watch that for, All right, here's a question. Do we want to watch that for next episode, or do we want to wait and make that our Christmas episode?
That's going to be our Christmas episode.
Okay. That's good.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
All right. So, our next trailer...
That answers that.
Yes, we're going to see it. It looks hilarious.
Yes.
That's the end of the story. I don't know what else we can say about that. Our next trailer is for The Midnight Sky.
Come in, Ether. This is Barbo Observatory. Are you receiving this? Is anyone out there?
This is Ether. Does anyone copy? We're not receiving anything.
That puts our last contact with Mission Control at
3 weeks.
Why is it so quiet?
That's Ether. It's a spaceship that we hoped would be our future. I have to warn them about the conditions on Earth. I don't know all the details. It started with a mistake. There is an antenna that's stronger than ours. We get to that antenna, they'll hear us. Take a deep breath. In our galaxy alone, there are billions of stars. At least one of them has the potential to support life.
I have to say that's not quite what I was expecting, but I would see this.
What were you expecting?
I don't know. I mean, I saw that it was a movie with George Clooney. So, I don't know. I don't really know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that.
Wasn't
It
that?
looks good. It looks good.
It's definitely something that I would have definitely gone to see in the theaters with you for sure, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would definitely don't have to, thank goodness, go see in the theaters, but I would definitely watching it as soon. Is it coming out soon?
It's December 23rd.
Good.
It said.
Oh well, be something else we might be able to watch. Alrighty.
All right, our next one is for The White Tiger.
When you come to India, you'll meet hundreds of millions of servants like me.
Driver, sorry, what's your name?
Sir, Balaram, sir.
Balaram, I got it. No worries. Dude, seriously, I got it. I love this song. Turn it up.
The desire to be a servant had been bred into me. You are a great man who's going to do great things in India, sir.
I think it's wrong the way you work for us.
What is it that you want to do? I want to serve you and Ashok sir.
No, you can't possibly believe that.
My master, he's a good man.
A good man. He's a rich man.
Here in India, there are only two kinds of people. Those with big bellies and those with small bellies. I was trapped. And don't believe for a second there's a $1 million game show you can win to get out of it.
You're mind driving!
I'm just one who has woken up while the rest of you are still sleeping.
I don't know what I was expecting for that one either, but that looks really good too.
It's different. It's different for sure.
I would go see it.
I'd probably wait for rental or something.
Yeah.
But I don't have to, so I'll see it. I don't think I'd see it in the movie, so.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. But it definitely does feel like more of a streaming movie anyway.
Yeah. Some of them are going to be like that, too.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Last trailer that we've got for the night, as far as this regular segment goes, is Stardust.
Hello.
Name?
David Bowie.
12 singles, every one a total failure, except Space Oddity. The record company finds the album too weird for the Yanks.
I need to be known. I need them to know me.
There's only one guy at Mercury who doesn't hate your new record with every bone in his body.
David Bowie, I presume. Ron Oberman, Mercury Records.
We got a packed couple weeks coming up. Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, and then out to L.A.
I think we can make it work. All it takes is one believer to change the world. And we got two.
Two?
You believe in yourself, don't you? I think you're going to be the biggest star in America. This is a Queen family rock station, so keep it safe.
Tell me about the new album. What's it all about?
It's about the years I spent dressing in women's clothes and getting laid.
You want to know why it's not working? If anyone dares to ask you about your actual work, you just do the mystical mime act.
There is no authentic me. It's just fear.
Well, then, be someone else. Be someone else.
You know, once I saw this was about David Bowie, I wasn't sure exactly what I would feel about it. But it just feels like one of those cash grab musical biography movies since Bohemian Rhapsody came out.
Yeah. It's kind of the same feeling I had. You can only watch so many of those.
It might be good. It might be good. I saw Rocket Man a little while ago. That was pretty decent, but I don't know if I have the same feeling about this.
Rhapsody.
You did?
Mm-mm.
Pretty okay. I wouldn't say it was anything to write home about, but pretty okay. I don't know. I would probably wait for a review on this one, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. Review.
All right. So, last segment of the night, we've got 2 more trailers we're going to watch and review. But this time with a little bit of a twist. So, these are movies, at least this time. This is movies that David and I have both already seen that have been out for a little while. David proposed this segment. What we're gonna do is we're gonna watch these trailers for movies that we both like. But the trailers are awful. So we're gonna watch them.
I don't feel the trailers lived up to what the movie actually was.
There you go. Okay, I should have worded that a little bit better, but you get what I'm saying.
Sometimes they are straight up off.
So we're gonna watch them, see, and then we're gonna see what we think could have been done differently to maybe more represent the movie that it's representing better. So we've got 2 this time. One for Shawshank Redemption, and then one for the first Taken movie. We're going to go ahead and watch the Shawshank Redemption first.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all the evidence. I submit that this was not a hot-blooded crime of passion. Consider this. A revolver holds 6 bullets, not 8. That means that he fired the gun empty, then stop to reload.
By the power vested in me by the state of Maine, I hereby order you to serve 2 life sentences back to back, 1 for each of your victims. So be it.
Send you here for life? That's exactly what they take.
I believe in 2 things. Discipline
Help me, Joe!
and the Bible. Here you'll receive both.
Andy came to Shawshank Prison in 1947. Why'd you do it?
I didn't, since you asked.
You gonna fit right in. I must admit, I didn't think much of Andy first time I laid eyes on him. He had a quiet way about him. A walk and a talk that just wasn't normal around here.
There are places in the world that aren't made out of stone. There's something inside they can't touch.
What are you talking about?
Hope.
Let me tell you something, my friend. Hope is a dangerous thing.
Damn it, Dufresne, you're putting me behind!
Hope can drive a man insane.
You better be sick or dead in there, I kid you not!
You better get used to that idea.
Oh, my holy God. I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living. You get busy dying.
Get busy living. Or get busy dying. That's damn right.
Okay. I haven't seen this movie in a little while, so forgive me, but I wouldn't say that this movie is a thriller, but I also wouldn't necessarily say that The Shawshank Redemption is exactly an inspirational story either. So, I'm extremely confused as to why they decided to put uplifting orchestral music as the backing for this trailer.
And now you see why I had problems with the trailer. I also didn't like the fact that the upbeat music somewhat kind of makes sense in the fact that they've given away the fact that he's out at the end somewhat.
I guess.
But I wish they hadn't done that at all in this film, in this trailer. Because that whole montage at the end of Morgan Freeman monologuing the events that took place the night that Andy escapes is such a turning point in the entire film. I mean, up until that moment, you think he's going to commit suicide. Like, you think he's lost all hope. Everything that happens up until that point is just beating this man down to the point of no return. And I really wish they hadn't put that in this trailer. I also don't think it's an inspirational movie. I love the movie.
Yeah.
I don't see how this could be inspiring. I mean, this is a man... Yeah. This isn't about a man who was set free because justice prevailed. This is a man who broke out of prison. He's a criminal. Just for that, he is a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not he belonged there, obviously, different point. I'm glad he's out. But it's just, I don't see how that could be inspirational. This man got put away for years of his life for something he actually did not do. What's inspiring about this?
The other thing I wasn't 100% certain with was the Morgan Freeman narration. I don't know. It feels... Maybe it's because it's an older trailer, but it feels weird to have one of the characters narrating the trailer instead of them just using clips in context to create the narrative that they're trying to create.
It was probably because there's a lot of narration that he does throughout the film.
It could be.
I'm with you, though. You could have just easily used those clips. But, whatever. And it's the same narration that they used in the actual film. They didn't change it up much at all, so... but without the context of the film, it's like, I'm with you. It's like, okay, whatever. So I don't know that I'd watch the film based on this.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I would.
And it's such a great film,
which is pretty sad because I really like the Shawshank Redemption.
Exactly. So I don't know. It was something I wanted to try to see if maybe we could come up with ideas. I think not showing the escape would have been a huge thing for this. You shouldn't have done that.
I couldn't say what, but it definitely a different music choice I feel like would help too.
Yeah.
And nixing the narration.
Yeah.
I couldn't say what to do in place of those things, but I think nixing those things and changing the music would help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also show a little bit more about maybe a little bit more about how life was.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really show anything that happened to him at all. So you get the feeling that he broke out and he didn't deserve to.
Yeah.
You don't see what he went through. Yeah, they showed a clip of him saying, I didn't do it, but then they automatically show the spot where Freeman says, well, you're going to fit right in here. Everybody says that. Everybody in here is innocent. So it's like, well, how do you know? You don't know unless you watch the film.
Exactly.
So, whatever.
All right. So, our next and last trailer for the night is for The First Taken.
Dad!
Oh, my darling. Happy birthday.
Dad, guess what? You know my friend Amanda?
Yep.
Her cousins asked us to spend vacation with them in Paris. I really, really want to go. Hi, Daddy.
You were supposed to call me when you land.
There's someone here.
What?
Oh my God, they got Amanda. They got me.
All right, listen to me. Go to the next bedroom, under the bed. Tell me when you're there. Now, the next part is very important. They're going to take you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. Where are they? If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it.
You have a 96-hour what? To never finding her.
No.
But if you don't, I will look for you.
Where is she?
I will find you. And I will kill you.
Good luck.
All right, I can tell you the biggest issue with that trailer right now.
Go for it.
They showed nothing. They showed literally all it was a bunch of flashing images in between him saying that. And don't get me wrong, that line is iconic.
Yes.
But like, come on, you can show some of the fight scenes or something instead of showing like literally 2-frame clips. One right after another thing, cutting back to him on the phone.
They showed absolutely nothing. The only saving grace of the entire thing is that monologue conversation. Mm-hmm. Because, yes, that line is wonderful. We both love it. You've literally, mouthed it and repeated it the first time we watched this film together. Because, I think it was Taken 3 that we watched together first. And then you made me watch the first two, and I was so glad you did, because I absolutely love these films. And it just happened to be something I watched the other night, and because I was taking my sweet time looking at Facebook or something, the trailer started playing on Amazon, and it's like, this sucks. What is this trailer? I didn't like the little busy signal / ringtone thing at the end, whatever they used at the end. It was like, this just feels so cut and dry, crappily put together.
I can understand that little busy signal thing because, he hung up the phone or whatever.
Up the phone. Yeah, sure, but it just felt
I guess
cheap.
They needed something to I don't know, signal that, but I don't know. I think the most egregious thing was those extremely quick cuts in between him talking in the film.
Exactly. You see nothing of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so action-packed. You didn't show any of it?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
What, were your action scenes not ready or something? Like, what was the issue?
Maybe.
There's plenty of things. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Oh, man.
I don't think I'd watch the film.
I don't know. I would be more inclined to watch this based on the trailer over Shawshank Redemption and its trailer.
Definitely.
But it definitely doesn't do the film justice.
No.
As far as the trailer goes.
This would probably... I guess I'd say... For Shawshank, I'd probably say I don't think I'm interested. This just doesn't seem like anything I'd care about. Yeah. This would probably maybe be a rate for review type rating from me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Because I definitely wouldn't say I'm going to go watch this in the theaters for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
And
I think I would have to wait for a review if we were seeing this brand new, just the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to leave this one, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to leave a rating on whatever podcasting platform you're listening on, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of Podcast Period. This episode was hosted and produced by Ben and co-hosted and edited by David. You can contact Ben on Twitter at BenPlaysVidges. That's Ben Plays VIDYAS. And you can contact David on Twitter at Car6by16. If you'd like to chat with us about any of the topics on this episode, you can hit up the show at Podcast Period on Twitter, or shoot us an email at podcastperiodpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a new website that has launched featuring new articles written by us, as well as links to all the episodes. Please visit that at podcastperiod.com. Want to do more for the show, but aren't sure how? We have a Patreon for that. For as little as $1 a month, you can get early access to episodes and so much more, and support the show while doing it. Just go to patreon.com/podcastperiod. Do you love sci-fi movies and shows? So do we. That's why we created the podcast from Planet X, a podcast where we analyze and discuss your favorite pieces of sci-fi media. Check it out at the link in the show notes. That's all for this week. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
This was a Nerdgasm podcast production.
Well, that was another in a long series of regrettable life choices.
Served at nerdgasmpodcast.com.